Hello and welcome back to The Hill. My name is Worthington Moore, and on today I have the opportunity to interview Mister Prairie View himself, Joshua Lewis. Joshua, how are you doing on today?
I'm doing good today.
That is great. I think I saw on your Twitter, maybe it was on Facebook, that you graduate in less than a month. So how are you feeling about that?
Yes, I do graduate. I'm feeling good about it. It's a bittersweet moment. Finally realizing that my journey at the Hill is slowly coming to an end. So it's good and it's bad at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of want to take it back to freshman year. You and me, we were both at Building 38, and
Yep, yep,
for
yep.
yeah, I know that a lot of us, it's rather unfortunate, but whenever you come into college, there are so many things that you kind of like get distracted. There's so many organizations, like there are over 100, and there's like classes that you have to deal with, and so there's kind of like a bit of everything to deal with. And so I just wanted to ask you, whenever you came to the Hill, was there any adjusting on your end that you had to make?
Yes, there actually was. Coming to the Hill. In high school, you always are told like, "Hey, join a organization that you feel you can really make a difference in." And so coming to the Hill, I know it was an adjustment first of me, basically changing how I studied. I'm gonna be honest. In high school, I didn't really have to study. Like it was just really like I would retain the information in class,
Yeah,
and then somehow, some way, I would get a good grade on the test. So that's something that I had to really adjust to in college was learning how to study. Not only that, I feel like with organizations, coming to the Hill, I did want to join every organization because I felt
yeah,
every organization has something that sparked my interest. But I quickly learned like um, you have to kind of pick and choose what can you see yourself in a leadership position in a certain organization, or can you see yourself really making a difference? So that's why I
yeah.
really joined the organizations I did, like such as Royal Court, PALS, different things like that. I knew that I could make a difference within that organization just being a part of it.
Yeah, that's so being a part of the Royal Court, that's an organization. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was just like you just set up to be a part of
Yeah.
that. Okay, cool. That's something I didn't know. So actually the next question touches about that. So like whenever you came in, did you also know that you wanted to be on the Royal Court, or was that something that you like just thought, hey, that'd be something nice?
So coming to PV is actually funny because I told my parents and everything because my parents are both alumni at Prairie View. My brothers go there or have already graduated, and then a lot of my family has gone to PV. So I told them that I basically wanted to be low key coming at PV. Like I didn't want to talk
Yeah.
to no one. I didn't want to really join any organizations. I just wanted to get my degree and get out. Well, that
Yeah.
quickly changed upon me coming to PV. But really, I didn't know about the Royal Court. When I would go to Prairie View homecoming every year, I would see like a king and queen. But as you can see, there's a lot of kings and queens on campus,
Yeah.
ranging from different organizations. So I didn't really know there was a Mister and Miss freshman until actually Panther Camp for freshmen.
Hmm.
They just told us about the different organizations, and then after talking to Amani and Kendall, who were the Mister and Miss PV at the time, that's when
Hmm.
I was like, okay, like I could see myself doing this. Originally, I thought Mister Freshman was like kind of like the class president more than like the role that it has. So I kind of
Hmm.
took that in my mindset, like, okay, I'm gonna be the class president, like I'm gonna be able to do this. But it was completely different. I did not expect everything that it entailed, but I'm grateful that I had that experience.
Yeah, and so for anyone who might want to join or see themselves on the Royal Court of Prairie View, what are some of the responsibilities that come with such a position?
I feel like a responsibility that a lot of people don't know is that you have to have great time management skills.
Mm,
You're constantly traveling, constantly planning events. You gotta go coronation during homecoming week. Actually, homecoming week is a busy week for Royal Court because we have coronation. We have to get up early for the parade. You have the game. So it's a lot, and you gotta go shopping that week too. So I feel like it's a lot of responsibility during that week. So time management is something that I feel um, you have to really have as being any member of the royal court. Not only that, you have to have a passion. It may be a passion for making a difference in your class, or having a passion wanting to execute events for your class. You may, for me, I saw that there was a need for our class to come together and be closer. So
mm-hmm.
that's what really drove me during my rank as Mr. Freshman. Also, a requirement that's written in our contract we have to sign is that Mr. Freshman, Sophomore, Junior, Senior, Miss Freshman, Sophomore, Junior, and Senior, they have to host at least 2 events each semester. So during the duration of the year, you have to host 4 events, and then for Mr. and Miss PV, you have to host 3 events each semester. Um, Other than that, I think that's really all of the responsibilities. But I really feel like when you're running for a position like that, you really need to think, why are you running for this position?
Yeah.
Um, you should never think that just because you're the popular person in the class, you should run for it. I feel like it's really, you have to have passion for it because you do get to walk on fields, you get to wave at people, but not only that, it's a lot of responsibility that a lot of people may not notice that you have to put
Mhm.
into royal court. So I just feel like you just have to really, you really need to want it, like to be on royal court.
Yeah, definitely. So I think what I might be hearing you say, especially with that last part, being passionate, it's something that you really want because at the end of the day, if you don't want it, if you're not really, striving and grinding for, that,
Yeah,
then it's not going to be something that, kind of like I think the phrase is like you put out what you get in, and if you're not,
yeah,
like a
that's
positive person,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely,
and especially with that the whole idea of cloud, so that wasn't like with you, like you're um it was never like a position to sort of enhance yourself as much as it
yeah,
was to make sure that the class as a whole was our class, class of 22, was
yeah,
together. Yeah.
yeah. I really saw it as I know there's. I always tell people because I know a lot of people feel like if you're on royal court, you get a whole bunch of clout. But I always tell people like I came to PV with clout. Like when I posted my graduation pictures coming to PVU, people liked it. People knew my brother on campus. People knew my mom on campus. People knew my dad on campus. So I didn't really see it as an opportunity to get clout because um, World Court really, I feel like it's something special on campus because it's something that's extraordinary to HBCUs in general. Like,
Hmm.
if you look at all HBCUs, we all have a king and queen, and but if you look at all HBCUs, not all HBCUs have Mister Freshman, Mister Sophomore, Mister Junior, and Mister Senior, and then same with the Misses. So
Yeah.
I really felt that as something unique, and I was like, I don't want to make PV look bad and be like, oh, our Mister Freshman not doing nothing, our Mister Sophomore not doing nothing.
Yeah,
So I
so there's a
really
little
took
bit
it,
of like added pressure.
yeah. So I just took it upon myself as you're not only representing yourself, you're representing the whole court, you're representing the advisors, you're representing even the whole school. So that's why I feel like if it's for like it should never be running
Mhm.
even like any leadership position on campus it should never be running for cloud. You should just have the passion for it, and if you have the passion other people would see it and you can do some crazy things at PV.
Yeah. So I think I remember a few times whenever you were when it came to that time of the year when it came to run for what would you call it, running for a PV court? But like whenever you were
Elections, yeah.
yeah, when you're trying to do the elections for that, I remember seeing some of the photo shoots. I think there's like one with Time Magazine. I was just like,
Yes.
oh man, this like, I was really like blown away by the creativity by that.
Yeah.
So how did that like was that an idea of yours that just like, oh man, I'm just gonna like every time like it comes to be for election time? Like you just all of the time just like blown away by the sort of things that that happen with that. So was that an idea of yours?
So actually, the Time magazine idea was proposed by my friend and now current LB Jabari Smith, and Melanie Hollis. Actually, both of them came up with the idea to do Time magazine. With me with elections, most of the flyers and most of the things I did my own creative director of it. But I basically wanted to make sure that I was representing myself to my fullest potential during elections. I feel a big thing with elections is that you need to show why people should vote for you. And what better way to do that if you have a crazy flyer? And with me, I'm someone I love going the extra mile. So
Mhm.
I took it upon myself to say, hey, like, how can I make my flyer stand out from the other candidates and still put my little flair to it?
Well, I mean, like it's still like in the back of my mind, so I think you definitely did that and more. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, so just going on to the next thing, and I think you might have touched a bit of it a little bit in the answers that you gave earlier, but what would you say is the biggest way that being on the royal court has helped you overall?
I feel the royal court has really taught me how to be a leader. When you're in charge of your whole class or even the whole campus, you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. You're representing the men in your class or you're representing the men on campus. And at first, you may not realize it, like, okay, like it's just a position. But would you, like, when you really boil it down and really think about it, it's like you're more than the title. Like you're more than just this Mister in front of your name. You're really making history. That's how I always look at it. Like
Yeah.
compared to anyone else, you're the only Mister Freshman, Mister Sophomore, Mister Junior, Mister Senior, or Mister PV for the duration of that year. So that's why I really took it upon. Like I saw it as you're upholding an opportunity that no one else on campus can has gotten. So it's like you need to represent yourself to the fullest potential to make sure that you're upholding the tradition that not even just happening this year, but has happened in previous years.
Yeah, so the next question that I have for you, and this is like spanning all of your time of being on the royal court, but what would you say was your best moment of being on there?
My best moment.
It can even be best moments. Like you don't have to
Uh,
scale it down to just one if like it's a tiebreaker or anything like
so
that.
I got about four best moments. So I feel
Okay,
like
I'll hear 'em.
my first best moment, of course, was being crowned Mister PV. That day still it still is in my mind, like because it was like I saw the pageant, I saw all of my fellow pageant brothers what they produced and everything, and it was just like the anticipation between the pageant ending to the time that we were getting announced. It was like literally, I felt like it was the longest period. It was really only 10 minutes, but it felt like a whole hour where I was waiting. So I was just talking to my friends, trying to stay distracted. We playing music, we're dancing, and then all of a sudden the results come out, and then boom, I won Mr. PV. So I feel like that's always a moment in my heart that will always stay there. My second best moment would be me and Jada. Jada Johnson was my Miss PV for the duration of the year. I feel like first of all, it'd be a best moment meeting her. She really helped me a whole lot throughout this reign. Kept me always, if I was going through something, she could always be someone I could call on, always talk to. And then us getting crowned with our coronation, it was literally probably like the most magical day. The photo shoot, the video, everything was just wonderful. Like I loved it. My third moment was probably when I was Mr. Freshman. Me and Kelsey, we that was my queen, that was Miss Freshman for the 2018-2019 school year. Um, and it was our first game we walked at, the Labor Day Classic, if I can remember. And then we were just walking. We seen everyone wave at us. They're like, "Oh, that's gonna be the next Mister and Miss PB. That's gonna be they're gonna be next up and all that." And then me and Kelsey just looked at each other and we're like, wow, our time is about to come. Like this is real. Like we're really
Yeah.
Mister and Miss Freshman. Like, and then I would feel like my last favorite moment as on the Royal Court would be with my court last year, and how it's not no specific moment, but I just feel like every year I have always formed a family with my Royal Court. Like,
Yeah.
um, I have really felt a connection with each one of my Royal Courts, and that will always be like, um, really a connection with me. Like I still see people who is on the court from last year, the year before, even this year, and we just chop it up and we just talk. So that will always be a favorite moment for me right there.
Well, that those are all great moments. So I know we've talked about all the highs of being on the royal court. So one of the things that because you were the previous Mister Prairie View, and now it's moved on to a new reign. What were some of the words of advice that you would say that you gave to the new Mister Prairie View, Keyshawn Limber?
Word of advice I would give him is that he earned it, and use it to your best ability. Like, don't let anyone ever dim your light of being Mr. PD, and don't let anyone ever tell you that an idea is too big to execute. There's plenty of events that people told me like, "Hey, you can't do," but all of a sudden it was done. So, um, I want to tell him that it's his year. Make the best of it, because just how it starts quick, it ends just as quicker. I trust me. I remember just being Mr. PV just being crowned a couple of months ago. So, it goes by quick, and so just appreciate every moment of it.
Yeah, and kind of continuing with that topic, is there anything that you wish that you could have been able to do, but unfortunately weren't able to do because most of your reign did fall during COVID restrictions, during
Yes.
the global pandemic. So, was there anything that you would have liked to do that you unfortunately weren't able to get the chance to?
It was a couple events that I still had in store. I actually may even just tell Keyshawn these ideas and he can execute it if he wants to. But it's a lot of events that I did want to execute, but due to us not really being able to have in-person events till recently, really, I
Hmm.
wasn't able to do that. One event that I really wanted to do was kind of do like um, I wanted to do it freshman year if I wasn't able to. So it was called Preparing Productive Panthers, and
Hmm.
then it will be just basically giving the rising freshmen an opportunity to come back. To come to campus and experience campus as like a day thing and have a shadow and everything like that. So that's something that I really wanted to do. But I wasn't able to because of COVID. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then kind of like this is like a very fun question, but if you could go back to your freshman year and change like anything, it's not one thing, but anything, or like give yourself previous self advice, or like do anything to change it, what would you change about that?
I would probably tell myself that I was graduating in 3 years. So it may seem like a long time, but it's quick. It's getting closer and closer to graduation day. So that's one piece of advice I would give me. Another piece of advice that I would give myself is that I should be confident in whatever organization that I join.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be a pre med organization. And just be happy about it and really make the best of it. And then the last piece of advice I would give myself is that just to be happy that you're at PV. It'd be moments that you have low points, moments that you thought something was going to happen, but it didn't happen. So really just appreciate those moments and really look at sometimes when you cannot look at the how you say it, how moments that you can't see the stars and the dark clouds or whatnot, just
I think it's something like that.
yeah, something like that. But when you can't see, oh no, when you cannot see the rainbow, when the clouds, when you cannot see that, just look at the brighter things, because it's moments during college in general that it be times that you feel like everything has been lost, but it hasn't. Something bigger is coming because God got something bigger in store for you. So that would be the three pieces of advice that I would have told myself freshman year.
Yeah, and speaking about bigger things in store, what do you have planned for after college since you are graduating?
So I recently got an offer at the National Institute of Health. I will be moving to North Carolina 2 weeks after graduation. I'm currently looking for apartments right now. So if you know any apartments, any viewers know any apartments, just let me know. But I got a full time offer there that I'll be working there for a year. And then after finishing my year duration, I would be matriculating into medical school.
So it seems that everything's eventually worked itself out.
Yes, it did.
All right, so this is just going to be the last question that I leave you out on. And I know that you talked a little bit about this earlier, saying about how how you became on the PV Royal Court. But if you could just how did you come to Prairie View?
I actually came to PV. It's a funny story because I told my parents, they were like, PV, 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 PV. That's our alma mater, so PV, PV. And I told them if I can go to any school, it would not be PV. And I applied to mostly HBCUs because I really wanted to go to a HBCU. With my parents going to HBCUs, seeing HBCUs on TV, seeing all of that, that's something that I really wanted to experience. And then I got a full ride offer to 4 different schools, but I didn't feel I was ready to leave far from home. So
Mhm.
something just called me to PV, and then I just went, and has probably been the best experience of my life. I do not regret
No regrets.
it.
Definitely something that a lot of people would like to in their college life on. So thank you so much, honestly, for
Oh yes,
being
no,
being able
anytime.
to interview you. And thank you to the viewers for watching. This has been The Hill. I'm your host, Worthington Moore, and this has been an interview with Joshua Lewis. Thank you, and stick around and tune in later on the next week. See you.
See you later.